Around a year ago, I stumbled across a post on Reddit, I think. You know, one of the 5 times I actually used Reddit. More specifically, it was on the Samurai Jack subreddit, where I first saw this post advertising a small, in-development indie game called Necrowave. Of course, one of the most prominent aspects of it being its very Samurai Jack-esque, Gendy Tartakovsky-inspired art style. Recently, this game made its way back onto my radar, and of course, I, of all people, am pretty interested in it to say the least. Full disclosure, this game isn't finished or released yet, and I don't know when it will be. It seems to be more or less a one-man dev team passion project type situation after all, but after talking briefly with the creator and expressing my interest to cover it someday, he very kindly offered me access to an early build of the game if I wanted to make a video on it. He even walked my clueless ass through getting it downloaded onto my PC when I was having trouble. To be completely honest, I just didn't know what the hell I was doing. Anyway, that was also very kind of him. This video is not sponsored or anything like that. It's simply me talking about, sorta reviewing, but ultimately just shedding some light on what I think is a very promising project. So with that in mind, I'm going to take you through this game, giving you my thoughts along the way, and ultimately landing back here for my final opinions. So without further ado, let's play Necrowave. Upon booting up the game, we are met with one hell of a title screen. Holy shit. Ignoring YouTube's possible distaste for it, I have to immediately praise the art and animation right out of the gate. It's very well done, from the lettering, all the effects, the fluid animation, to, of course, the art and coloring that immediately hits you with that Gendy Tartakovsky vibe. After pressing any button and a short loading screen, we fade into what looks to be a beautiful hand-painted environment. And we get our first look at our playable character, this little creature here. Now for a quick overall analysis of our character, it is certainly a zombie. The Steam description of the game mentions that it's the tale of the, quote, emotional life of a zombie stuck in a microwave, which, other than being a description that I sure as hell would never be able to scroll past without checking out, but it and the photo accompanying it sorta implies that maybe within the lore of this game, this zombie's brain was placed into a microwave, and the following events of the game are just one big fever dream experience she's having before her brain fucking explodes like a hot dog. Or maybe not. Sorry, my YouTuber brain just loves to overanalyze everything. Back to our little guy/gal here, and a few more observations. They are actually wearing a microwave, and the tail is actually the cord and plug-in, which is a detail I didn't notice until after a few playthroughs. She moves pretty unnaturally, and when idle seems almost paranoid, which both set such a good first impression for the vibe of this game. The environmental art and the background music also most definitely add to that. The music track that plays in the background is actually really good, by the way. Moving forward, after we navigate our first few obstacles, we are introduced to 2 things. The checkpoint system in the form of this Grim Reaper here, which when activated plays... oh my god. And also these ghosts. These things are actually pretty cool. So when interacted with, each ghost gives you 3 pieces of information. Their name, their cause of death, and their last words. The most interesting and arguably best part is that they seem to all be user submitted. So they're not really a lore building tool like I first assumed, but instead an extra thing to explore around and look out for, it seems. They are placed all throughout the level, and due to their user submitted nature, they are pretty random, but undoubtedly a ton of fun. Some of them definitely gave me a good chuckle, I'm not gonna lie. This ghost belongs to Wilson. Cause of death, the Skeleton War. Bye guys, I'm going to join the Skeleton War. On the side of the skeletons. It doesn't take long for us to encounter our first enemy, however. Oh god, are you okay, bro? On second thought, I don't know if I should call this guy an enemy because he never outright attacks you and honestly looks horrified. Anyways, after getting past him, we continue on. And I'd love to mention now how good the platforming feels in this. It's definitely what I was worried about the most when starting this game. Nothing ruins a platformer for me faster than wonky or odd feeling momentum. But between the jumping and ledge grabbing here, it all feels pretty good and borderline satisfying. And we haven't even gotten to the best parts. One of which we learn next after stumbling upon these. At first, there doesn't seem to be a way to get past these types of obstacles, but then we are informed of this move. A fucking ground pound maneuver that acts as our only real form of attack. And as a method of attack with the bounce you get after performing it, it provides one of the absolute most satisfying experiences in the game, and fully displays my favorite aspect of this game overall. Its lack of reliance on a conventional combat system. There's no hacking and slashing here, buddy. It instead relies on a methodical, almost rhythmic system to defeat enemies and traverse the level. And when it all blends together just right, it is absolutely insane how good it feels. If there is one singular reason I'd recommend you try this game out for, it would be for this. Is it utilized to its absolute fullest potential? Definitely not, yet at least. But is it an absolute blast? Hell yeah. A bit further, we do meet our first truly hostile enemy, these guys who immediately start throwing shit at you. Their projectiles are decently fast, and it's hard to bait their throws because as soon as it leaves their palm, it's headed in your direction no matter where you are. But they're not too much trouble to deal with. They also have my favorite single sprite in the game after they're defeated. Like, come on, man, I didn't hit you that hard. Next up, we meet two more entities, another passive enemy in the form of these mimes, which add the variable of invisible objects to the game. And then we run into this chick. She seems to have covered herself in oil or something flammable and lights herself on fire before sprinting directly at you. The only way to defeat her is using a lever to activate a gust of air from a pipe. You just have to time it perfectly, because your jump is not high enough to clear her. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh fuck. From there, after another intensely satisfying moment, we are granted an ability. The power to summon the dead. No way. Okay, that is pretty cool. Other than being an awesome visual, it gives you a bit more height to your jump and is the perfect garnish to the already great movement. We then meet our friend from earlier again for a brief moment and help him out with a little boost. And then we encounter the flaming woman again, but she doesn't stand a chance this time, since with the help of our new undead allies, we can hop right over her ass. I did still almost piss myself when she turned on a fucking dime though. But don't worry, we still defeated her no problem. In the last leg of this game, we are introduced to yet another mechanic. That being these electric currents that I've just ran straight into. Being caught in these allows you to travel through the current, bypassing solid objects. They are also used to gain height, go through dangerous objects or enemies. Hell, you can even cancel out of them on either side with the same exploding effect, giving you some extra maneuverability. And after having some more fun with the mimes and their invisible puzzles, we inevitably find ourselves at the end of the line. We see a mime grieving near a grave, and a few steps forward stands an ominous figure. By approaching it and pressing B, this happens. And that, my friends, was Necrowave. Now, before anything, I want you to know I really thoroughly enjoyed my time with this game. I played through it countless times while making this video, and I have so much to say about it. So now I'd like to jump into my final thoughts and all the good versus the bad. Starting with the good. First off, of course, the elephant in the room is the art direction in general. Not only does it very faithfully mimic the work of Genndy Tartakovsky like it set out to do, but it also just looks really clean and, in my opinion, genuinely kind of impressive. And that goes for all aspects of it. From the title screen to the pause menu to all the fluid animation. For how small this game is, it's almost unbelievably good. Another big thing I need to praise is the controls and movement. I did touch on it quite a bit earlier, but it really did stick with me how surprisingly good they were. It just overall feels pretty good to play. Also, quick side note, I was very surprised to find that after I picked up my Bluetooth controller, the game automatically switched over to it with fully mapped out controls and alternate visuals on screen. Which is such a small thing, but it is so appreciated. I have had the worst luck trying to get that controller to work properly on my PC games. And there's absolutely no excuse why a certain $60 to $70 game I just bought can't do what this indie game can do. Another big pro for me is the setting and overall vibe of the game. It's very spooky yet fun. And the characters and environment are incredibly interesting and creative. I'd love to potentially see more lore or story added, no matter how nonsensical it could be. I think this has a lot of building blocks in place for some really fun and interesting lore potentially. Okay, now for the negatives, which there isn't many. I'd say the biggest drawback to this game is simply that there isn't more of it. I know that sounds a lot like another compliment in disguise, which to some extent it is. I mean, I do genuinely have a thirst for more every time I finish this game. But it is also very true on more levels than just that. The game is relatively short, especially after your first playthrough and you know what to expect. And although what is here is good and fun, it does feel more or less like a glorified demo. All the basics are certainly laid out, everything is utilized well, but not to the max, if that makes sense. Like when you play this game and get into the groove, you can really feel the potential this has to keep going up into more complex puzzle and challenge sections. Maybe even some boss battles. I mean, working around the pre-established gameplay, boss battles could be a crazy avenue of content to add to this game. But other than that, I can't think of much more to scrutinize here. I mean, like I said, it definitely has some room to grow, but I'm never going to sit here and start being an asshole comparing it to other games and going, this ain't no fucking Mario Brothers. Yeah, 'cause it's not. It's its own thing. And for what it is and has the potential to be, I think it's pretty original, pretty well made, and most importantly, a pretty fun time. And I absolutely can't wait to see where it goes from here. I want to thank you so much for watching, it really means the most to me. And if you enjoyed this video, I wholeheartedly recommend going and supporting the creator of this game and checking it out for yourself. I'm going to link his Patreon page in the description below if anyone is interested. Included in his Patreon, I believe, is access to the exact build of the game I just played. So if you want to play it for yourself and support him along the way, definitely go check that out. I truly wish him and his project the very best. I had a lot of fun making this video, and I'm really excited to see where this game goes because I truly do think it has the bones to be something really great. I definitely plan to keep it on my radar. But that's all for this video. I hope you have an absolutely amazing day, and I'll see you in the next one.
I want some cheeseburgers just to eat. I'm talking ketchup, my nigga mustard on the beat. You gotta put a lot of lettuce, please, because I like to have a lot of grease. I remember eating outside with my whole team. Now a nigga gotta stay home cause of quarantine.